What have been some of the greatest stories that have come out since you've started this brand?
Wow. Okay, we're gonna go there. My favorite one was seeing a young man say that he started journaling and wanted to take his own life, and that for me shocked me because he wanted to take his own life, and I was able to be there for him and provide him with a journal and say, "Let's write together."
On my journey,
Appreciate that.
powerful company centered around mental health, a social enterprise. So it's very exciting in the journey of a CEO series to have somebody who I believe whose product is going to be big in the years to come.
I appreciate that. Means a lot to be here on your channel. This is a massive movement that you're doing, so it's a privilege to be here, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. The first question I'd like to ask you is, you were born in London. You started drumming at the age of 12. And you've done concerts and weddings and performed with all kinds of artists. But in all of this, how did the idea for Journal My Journey come?
Okay, so I'm gonna correct you. I started playing drums professionally at the age of 12. I actually started when I was 2 from my dad. Really, really young. really young. I know, a little boy playing drums. But for me, Journal My Journey came from actually going into therapy. I wore a mask for a very long time, and with wearing a mask, I was covering up who I was. I was hiding behind the drums, and for me, I really wanted to find myself. I was a very broken man, and that for me really changed me when I went into therapy. So from going into therapy, I started to write in my book, and that allowed me to discover that journaling is actually something that really helps your mental health. So then from there, I thought, okay, let me come up with an idea for men to journal.
And you talked about going into therapy, but what I wanted to focus is what drove you to end up going into therapy, and why did you realize you need to go into therapy?
Okay, so I went into therapy because I had a very, very hard childhood, a very hard upbringing. For me, I came from a broken household from the age of 7. So my mum and dad split up, and that really impacted me. A lot of black households, black marriages, they do get divorced and they split up, and it does affect the kids, and it really affected me. It affected my identity. I struggled with my identity in myself. I struggled with my self-confidence. I struggled in school. And for me, growing up, I wore a mask a majority of my life, and for that, it then allowed me to then go into breaking my celibacy from a very young age. I lost my virginity at the age of 15, and from that really changed me. I then was chasing girls. I was then going around, sleeping around, and that really affected my life. So from there, it then allowed me to then say, okay, do you know what, I need to do something about this. Around the age of 22, I got engaged. I tried to prove a point to my dad that I was nothing like him, that I could hold down a marriage, but I didn't even know who I was. So after doing that, I said, you know what, I need to do something for myself, and I went into therapy. And therapy really allowed me to uncover who I really was for myself.
Wow. Following on from that, Journal My Journey is just such a powerful brand. At what stage did you say, I need to start a company that centers around empowering men to write about how they feel?
It's funny you say that. I didn't have the plan to actually start a business. For me, I just wanted to run with something that I felt that God invested in me. So I was just like, let me just get 200 journals over here in the UK and just see if that goes. Within 6 months, I sold all 200 journals. And that then allowed me to see this is actually a business. This is actually a movement. This can actually be something, because there wasn't really a market targeted at black young men for them to journal. There's people out there that are targeting black young men to help them, but I believe that a lot of black men don't want to talk. They don't want that support. They need to find themselves first. So that's when I came up with Journal My Journey, because it allows men to be able to write in their journal and find themselves, and then look back at their journey and see how far they have come in life. So that allowed me to start up a business, and it's been going really well so far.
Yes, so in 2022 you started Journal My Journey. You've sold hundreds of journals. Not only that, I see your face on posters all over the country.
Yeah, it's shocking. It still blows my mind, because it came from nothing. It came from me being broken. I believe when you're in a really broken place and you try to find yourself, that's when your purpose comes out. And for me, I found my purpose by supporting men's mental health because my mental health was very depleted. And it allowed me to uncover so many different things. I now have a community of men that I talk to. For me, I don't believe in just selling journals. I believe every person that buys a journal is a partner to Journal My Journey, because that means that they're a part of the vision to change men's mental health. They want to see a change for men's mental health. It's very interesting because a lot of mothers buy journals for their sons, and then their sons get in contact with me, and we will have transparent and vulnerable conversations where we will talk about life, and we will try to just see what we can do. And I'm now partnering up with tutors, with therapists, with life coaches and mentors to help these young men to find themselves, and it's been really going really well.
So it's really interesting you say that, because even going to a previous interview with Aaron Wallace, he mentioned that, talked about the crisis that black men are experiencing with regards to mental health. How do you think Journal My Journey is a solution to enable black men to really say how they feel?
So with Journal My Journey, it's not just about journaling, but that's the first step. And with that being the first step, you're able to see and uncover your true self. A lot of men say, how do you start journaling? My question to them is, what's your mental health like from a scale from 1 to 10? And then you answer that. My second question is, in this life that you live, everyone has a story. What's your chapter called? Once you answer that question and answer those two questions, you've then begun journaling. You've then begun your journey to self-discovery. And with that, it allows men to realize, okay, yeah, I've just journaled. We journal every single day that we talk. When you talk to someone, that is you journaling. All you have to do is take the next step and just write it down. Journaling doesn't mean you have to write 4 pages in one go. Journaling can just be you write 1 sentence to yourself. Once you start writing, you will then be prompted by your mind to keep going because you're expressing yourself. It's like having a conversation with yourself. And it doesn't make you crazy to have a conversation with yourself. I speak to myself all the time and I love it. So yeah.
And it's actually really interesting because Journal My Journey was set up in 2022. That was around about a year after the lockdown ended.
Yes. Oh, wow. Lockdown. Whew. Hard time. Lockdown for me really impacted me because it was around 2019 when I called off my engagement, and then 2020 happened and we was in lockdown and I was lost because I was stuck in my house. I couldn't go out, and for me, I grew up in a household full of women, and that really affected me because I had so much women around me and I was just like, what do I do? I'm trapped. And for me, I then wanted to start something. I wanted to do something for myself. And for me, I didn't really want to talk to people because it was like, how am I going to talk to anyone that's around me? So when we came out of lockdown 2022, as I said, I discovered therapy. And for me, I realized that during lockdown, my relationship with my mum and my dad was going downhill. After I went into therapy, I was able to be transparent with them and talk to them about everything that was going on, about the mistakes that they may have made when I was a child, about things that happened to me when I was a child. And I'm now vulnerable with my parents. I'm now transparent with my parents. I can talk to them on a level and say what it is. We have adult conversations, and a lot of people can't do that. For me, with my parents, I tell my parents all the time, I love them, and they will say it back. And that's something that not a lot of black households do. And it's really, really sad. And I believe it just needs to change.
It's really powerful.
Thank you, man.
What you do is so powerful because I was reading an article on Healthline and he said that journaling enables self-discovery. So what have you discovered about yourself from journaling?
What have I discovered about myself from journaling? Okay, I can answer this. For me, with journaling, I've discovered that I am very passionate about a lot of different things. I'm very passionate about men's mental health. I'm very passionate about my self-care and my appearance. I'm very passionate about other people around me and my friends and my circle. I care a lot about them. I've also discovered that I am very sensitive. I'm a sensitive young man, so I like to protect myself. Peace is my biggest priority. I value peace. And for me, through journaling, I realised that I also realised that I'm a person that thinks strategically. So I like to write down my thoughts, assess them, and see if I'm going to move forward with them. So it allowed me to know which direction to go in life. A lot of the time when I was younger, I would take risks and get myself into silly mistakes and silly troubles. Now that I'm journaling, I know what direction I want to head into. So yeah, it's helped me in that way.
And a big thing to you is your faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading an article in the Guardian which talks about the Pentecostal church is thriving, whereas other denominations are, shrinking.
Yeah.
In your experience, how has the Pentecostal church movement helped you to become the person that you are today?
Okay, I grew up in a church where you had women and men that used to dress up in suits and the hats and the tambourines, and that was church for me. But it was very family orientated. They cared a lot about me. They valued me. They loved me. They would look after me. They loved me playing drums, and they encouraged me to keep going. That was a very, very big thing for me. Growing up in Pentecostal church, I then moved into New Testament Church of God, and with New T, it's a very, very big organization. It's a very big church, and for me, it allowed me to expand my network. And I saw that there was a lot of people that were just like me, broken, who struggled in life. But then we came together and we were able to speak. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have church in my life. I have people who look out for me, who support me mentally, who support me spiritually. And it's a very big family that value me for who I am. I can be transparent with them and I don't feel judged. That's how it is for me. And it really, really helped me become the man that I am today. Just being in church is everything for me. There's been times where I've said, you know what, I can't do this church thing no more. I can't be in church. And every time I've walked away from church, somehow I end up back there because I just miss it. It's a part of my life. It's a part of who I am. And I'm not ashamed to say it.
That's really powerful.
Thank you, man.
And even going on from that, I just want to focus upon you and just your own personal journey. So you've ran Journal My Journey for about 2 years now. What have you learned about yourself as an entrepreneur?
Wow. Ooh. Okay, not to boast. I've become a confident person.
Right.
At first, when I had the business, I wasn't able to speak to people. Now I love speaking to people. I love networking. I love talking about the business because I now believe in the business. Because Journal My Journey is a good business, it's allowed me to believe in myself. And I have had to realize that I am the brand Journal My Journey. I carry the brand. And with that means I got to make sure that I'm in the right place mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It is hard. Very, very tough running the business. It's a lot of time, but it's worth it because I then see the impact on testimonials that it's having on people's lives, and that encourages me to keep going. So for me as an entrepreneur, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. It's uncovered some truths about myself. It's uncovered so much different things that I didn't know about myself. For me now, I realize that I am a great leader. I never knew this. I really didn't know this. I'm someone who loves to speak transparently and be vulnerable with people, because when you're vulnerable with people, they can be vulnerable with you. So yeah, that's what I've learned.
And following on from that, I also want to focus upon the testimonials of Journal My Journey. What have been some of the greatest stories that have come out since you've started this brand?
Wow. Okay, we're gonna go there. My favourite one was seeing a young man say that he started journaling and wanted to take his own life. And that for me shocked me because he wanted to take his own life, and I was able to be there for him and provide him with a journal and say, let's write together. Let's see what we can get down on this paper, and let's see how far you can go with this journaling. It was very hard for him at first. Very, very, very hard for him at first. But just to see from where he was to where he is now has opened my eyes to see that this business is needed, because it's something where he's seen his journey from where he was, the thoughts that he used to have, and now he's doing successful with a job. He's continuing his life, he's continuing his journey. That for me is a massive thing, and I absolutely love it. It's something that encourages me nearly every day just to see that he's still going. And for me, he motivates me. He motivates me now. I don't need to motivate him. He motivates me to keep going. So it's amazing.
I think that's really powerful because suicide is the biggest killer of men.
Yeah.
So pouring into this product is definitely helping people, and I can see that from the reviews and what everyone says about your brand. So just slightly, I just want to find out, you're doing a tour this year, and you know there's a lot of buzz around it. Can you just please just tell us a bit about your tour and where you'll be going to? And
so we're doing a tour, and we're doing a tour around a lot of churches. The reason why we're targeting the churches is because a lot of the men are in churches. They don't necessarily speak. They don't know how to be vulnerable or transparent. They don't know how to be used in church. And for me, I believe that their purpose just needs to come out. So we're going around to a lot of different churches to help a lot of men. We're traveling up and down the country. We're going from London all the way up to Leeds. And with that, we want to bring a change. It's self-funded, very challenging, but we want to bring a change so that then men can be able to speak and find themselves and be used more in their communities. I want to change communities. I want to have an impact on communities. I want to allow men to be vulnerable with themselves. I said something to a man recently where I said, if you are struggling in your relationship or struggling in your marriage, write it down in your journal, because you're able to then communicate with your partner, with your wife, and they are able to read it. And with them reading it, you're not having to say something and skip on your words. You're not able to, when you say something, you can't take those words back. And because you can't take those words back, that means that it's going to register in her head. If you write it down, you're able to just cross out certain things or rub out certain things, and you're writing a letter that you mean, and you're being vulnerable with her. And that allows you to then grow in your relationship, grow in your marriage. You're also being vulnerable with yourself, and that is self-love, that is self-gratification, and that's important. So yeah, that's why we're doing the tour. I want to impact a lot of relationships, drop the suicide rate. I want to drop the divorce rate as well in marriages. So yeah.
And even following on from that, what types of churches will you be going to? Will it just be New Tea churches, or will it be different denominations?
Different denominations. We're open to what other type of churches that want to approach us. If there's any churches out there that want to jump on the tour, then we're open to them. It's just about us coming to your church, and you just sign up through our website, and then we are able to come down to your church and just deliver a 10 minutes talk about who we are, and just sell journals and encourage men. Once we come to your church, you become a part of the community and become a partner.
Thank you. And The Voice newspaper talked about the importance of black social entrepreneurs. So these are entrepreneurs that have a social aim behind what they're doing. Why do you think there is such a trend rising with regards to people focused upon building their communities as opposed to making businesses solely for profit?
I believe it's because us as a black community, we care about our people. We care about what is happening in this generation. We care about what's happening in this world. And we're realizing that it's not necessarily about the profit. It's not about the money, but it's about supporting our own. When you think about it, there's so many other cultures out there that support their own, but you hear on a regular basis that us as black people, we don't support our own. And this generation is trying to make a change for that. We want to support our own. We want to bring up our own kind. We want to have an impact on our kind. And it's necessary. It's needed, because we want to rise up our black community. We want to raise up our black youth. We want to raise up our black young men and women. And I believe it's necessary.
Thank you. And John on My Journey is a very investable brand. I know that the company is looking for investors or business mentors. Please just tell us just a bit about where you envision the brand going in the next few years or so.
So with John on My Journey, we want to have an impact on this nation, on England first. We do want to go international, but we want to start here right at home. And with that, we want to go into communities, we want to go into prisons, we want to go into schools and deliver workshops. We want to be able to talk to the youth, talk to young men, talk to the people who are out there, and just deliver what Journal My Journey is about. We don't believe in just selling journals. We want to create a community where we can support young black men in being able to be transparent and vulnerable. A lot of young men are struggling with their identity. This is why they're ending up on the streets. This is why they're ending up and going to selling drugs and doing a lot of different things that they don't need to do because they're hurt, because they're broken. It's about getting them that healing that they need, and the necessary healing that they need, which is therapy, which is counselling, which is having life coaches and mentors. And that's something that we want to provide for them because it is necessary, it's needed. So that's what we're trying to do.
And I like the concepts on therapy, but one thing that I think that is transparent in our community and other communities as well is that men don't like to talk. So what advice would you give to a man that wants to get help but is afraid of therapy?
I would say talk to someone. Talk to someone that you can be vulnerable with. A lot of men struggle to be vulnerable with themselves. Find someone that you can trust, that you can open up to, and just speak to them. For me, I love speaking to men and hearing their stories. I love men when men can come to me, and I'm the type of person where I'll tell you my whole story. I have no shame. I have no mask to say, okay, I'm hiding behind this, behind that. I struggle with certain different things every single day, but I'm happy to be able to speak to men about that because it's what vulnerability and transparency is all about. And when I do that, men can then come to me and talk to me about their struggles. And I believe that's what's necessary. It's the same thing as going into therapy. When you're going to therapy, you're speaking to someone, you're being transparent and open with them and getting the necessary support. I would say if you can't speak to them, write it down. Write it down first and look at what you've written down and see how far you have come. And then once you start therapy, you will see the transition from when you were doing it by yourself to then getting the support and help that you needed. Yeah.
Couple of fun questions. So top 3 artists, top 3 films, and what team do you support?
Wow. Okay. So top 3 artists. Okay, number 1, Fred Hammond.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely Fred Hammond. Number 2, a guy called Masego. And number 3, Corey Henry, musician. Absolutely love him. Second question. What was the second question?
Second question, top 3 films.
Top 3 films. Oof. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot to pick from. Top 3 films. Okay, Home Alone's number 1.
Okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean number 2.
Okay. Which one?
The second one. Second one, definitely second one. And then my third one would be Fighting Temptations, actually. Yeah, I love it. Love Fighting Temptations and the team that I support. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I said I'm going to be transparent, honest. From young, I used to support Man United. But I don't watch football like that anymore. But I saw that Man U won the other day and I was gassed. I was gassed. And I was like, yeah, there's my team. But I'm not really a football guy like that. But I will support Man U. If you want to call me a glory hunter, call me a glory hunter. But yeah, man, I'm a Man U man. That's me.
Okay, and where do you think they're going to finish in the league this season?
Oh, gosh. They better win. That's what I care about. They better win. I just want to boast in London that keep supporting Arsenal and come not to me, man. I also want to shout in their face, Man U won. That's me, man.
And the last question I'd like to just ask you, do you have any other plans that you haven't mentioned about Journal My Journey that will be taking place this year?
Yes, we do actually. In October, I'm taking 15 men away to the countryside where we're going to be vulnerable and transparent with each other. We're going to sit down and we're going to have some speakers come down and just talk to them. We're going to be able to just zone out from life for a weekend and just be able to sit there and have that discussion, be able to do some journaling techniques, talk to them about why it's important to journal, why mental health is important, and allow men to just bond, play some PS5, play some games. Also going to give them a massage and a spa treatment as well, allow them to relax and just reset before they go back into their normal everyday life.
Well, that's powerful. And if men want to sign up for this, how can they sign up for?
They can sign up by coming onto the website. And then subscribing to the website. There's going to be a newsletter on our website and they'll find out all the information from there.
Nathaniel, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the platform.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.